The first step to start climbing is to understand every role in the game. The majority thinks there are only 3 roles in Marvel Rivals: Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist. Of course, these are the most recognized. But if you think about it, someone like Hulk has more similarities in playstyle with Magic than with Doctor Strange. However, they are both Vanguards, while Magic is a Duelist. Why is that? It's because Magic and Hulk are both divers. They like jumping in and jumping out of the enemy team. Doctor Strange, on the other hand, is, in my opinion, a frontliner. He usually sits between his team and the enemy team, absorbing as much damage as possible. In this video, you will learn about every role, what characters belong to which role, and each individual role's playstyle. First, we have frontliners. In this category, I put Doctor Strange, Groot, Magneto, and the recently added Mr. Fantastic. These characters like to be at the front of their team, fighting with the enemy frontliners. They usually have shields, or in Groot's case, walls, or other abilities to absorb the immense damage they take. Consider picking one of these characters if you like leading your team and controlling space. Your primary job as a frontliner is to keep enemies away from your team. You are like a wall, saving your team from death. The second role is divers, or, as some might call them, assassins. They essentially gain an advantage by diving into the enemy's weak backline and creating chaos. This disruption prevents healers from supporting their front line, which often causes the entire enemy team to crumble. In my opinion, divers are the hardest role to learn in Marvel Rivals. You can be punished so easily for even one foolish mistake. Remember, you are playing on their territory, so at any moment, the entire enemy team's attention can turn to you. You have to learn how to stay safe while still applying the necessary pressure to the backline. Also, you'll need to rely heavily on green health packs, as your healers likely won't be able to help you when you're out of their sight. Overall, this is probably the most fun role in the game, and here you can see what, in my opinion, are the best characters suited for this role. The third role is snipers. These characters love to keep their distance and can deal tons of damage. They rely heavily on their aim and their ability to predict enemy movements. If you want to play this role, you'll need to focus on targeting the enemy's supports while also being cautious of divers, who will 100% prioritize you as their target. Divers shouldn't be too much of a problem, though, since most snipers have the ability to one-shot or deal very high single-target damage. So just stay in the back line and be aware of your surroundings. Next up are flankers. This is a unique role because they play similarly to divers, trying to go around the enemy front line. However, unlike divers, who target the enemy backline, flankers primarily focus on attacking the enemy front line. That said, they don't all approach this the same way. For example, Wolverine literally kidnaps the enemy frontliners and throws them into your team. On the other hand, Scarlet Witch will poke the enemy frontline from an angle and reposition herself as needed. I recommend this role to people who are worse mechanically, but have a really solid game awareness. Next up are the regular medium-range DPS. These characters usually stay behind the frontliners and can output tons of damage to both groups of targets and single targets. This role serves as the team's primary damage output, and frontliners are usually very scared of them because they can melt anyone in seconds. At the same time, they also provide great utility for their team, like Winter Soldier's hook or Storm's damage buff. Overall, I think this is the most popular role in the game, as I see a lot of people in my matches playing it. I believe it's because these characters usually end the game with the highest damage stats. Next, we have healers. These characters can output insane healing, sustain their tanks, and instantly heal divers when they return to the team. With such incredible healing capabilities, you might think they lack utility, but it's the complete opposite. Some of their ultimates and abilities are among the most broken in the game so far. There isn't really a skill cap for these characters, but they do have a very low barrier to entry. This means anyone can play them well enough, but they can never be played to their full potential. As mentioned earlier, this is the kind of class that stays in the backline and is often the primary target of divers. And for the last role, we have supports. Their utility is incredibly useful for the team and can significantly amplify other roles. Generally, these characters rely on their abilities to heal, deal damage, or, in Rocket Raccoon's case, revive allies, which is one of, if not the most, overpowered abilities in the entirety of Marvel Rivals. Overall, this is a solid class. However, I wouldn't recommend having more than one support on a team at once. Their capabilities are very time-based, and you can quickly run out of cooldowns if you rely on them too heavily. If you enjoyed the video and learned something new, consider leaving a like and checking out my other videos on this channel. It's going to grow soon, so be one of the first to join the journey. Feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments.
Que tengo aquí mi canción. Hoy me puse puta para verte, tú que estás con suerte. No quiero tequila, quiero ver.